Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. So I'm about a day late when it comes to this news. This happened a couple of days ago. It's been a long weekend, so bear with me. But yeah, this is, you'll get it. CBOE Global Markets, the exchange behind the first market for Bitcoin futures, is telling market makers it is close to rolling out futures for Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap. People familiar with this situation told Business Insider the product may launch by the end of 2018. Futures, which provide investors a way to bet on the future price of an asset, help propel Bitcoin to an all-time high at the end of December. Bitcoin futures markets, which include CBOE and CME in the United States, have been relatively muted since their launch in December. Still, the launch of Ethereum futures would mark a significant step in Ether's maturation, as it could open the door to wider trading in the crypto and possibility for a future ETF. CBOE will be basing its futures on Gemini's underlying market. People familiar with the situation said it's always people familiar with the situation for some reason. Everything is constantly hush-hush, and we can never know the exact people who said this type of information. So we always get that someone behind the shadows said that this is going to be happening with a certain thing in the cryptocurrency space. CBOE has also based its Bitcoin futures on the New York-based crypto exchange run by the Winklevoss twins. The Futures and Options Exchange is waiting on the Commodities Futures Trading Commission to get comfortable with the product before its official launch, a person with knowledge of the matter said. A Securities and Exchange Commission director in June notably said the agency didn't view the trading of Ether as violating securities laws, which could bode well for the CBOE. Someone named Concanon said in December of 2017 that a family of cryptocurrency products, including futures for Ether and Bitcoin Cash, could come to fruition as the market continues to mature. He said, "We started down this road in the form of an ETF. A healthy market is a healthy underlying market. Derivatives market and an ETF. This will take time." Meanwhile, rival CME's group CEO Terry Duffy has said Ether futures won't go live on his venue anytime soon. So we have, once again, this double-edged sword. We have a space now where people are vying to get into the cryptocurrency space. They're trying to make things such as even more other Bitcoin futures. There's a reason why you haven't really heard like a lot of other major players, or not even major players, like other people kind of getting into Bitcoin futures. It kind of comes down to a lot of the rejections are still happening by the SEC and the CFTC for some reason. They keep thinking, or rather, I feel like the CBOE usually gets priority when it comes to all of these things. What we saw happen before when the Bitcoin futures was announced, I believe it had to be November, something like that. And then around December 2017, you may all have remembered, Bitcoin went from, it was like 7,000 or something like that. And then it shot up to 20,000. It was miraculous. It was wonderful. Everybody loved it. And then we had news around February, March that the Bitcoin futures were actually the reason why the price of Bitcoin was going down and why it was so stable. And then we also had news sometime in late 2017 that there was a guy, can't remember his name anymore, who said that they were going to tame Bitcoin, simply whichever means that they had possible. And then that's when we had the news about the future. So it leads us to a space where more people will know the name Ethereum, more people will know about the cryptocurrency space, more people will understand or start to understand what altcoins are, getting into, trying to branch out a bit more. But then what would happen if we actually do get an official launch of a Ethereum's futures, let's say around November, as everything with the New York Stock Exchange, I think it is, or is it NASDAQ? One of them is launching their thing in November. If we get something that is Ethereum futures based, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a dramatic price rise. It's going to be something as intense as what we saw last year for Bitcoin. But what then happens when the entire market starts to short and or bet against the price of Ethereum? Which same thing that happened with Bitcoin futures. Instead of people in the cryptocurrency space were very optimistic, thinking that, we have Bitcoin futures. We understand the future of Bitcoin. A lot of people who are getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies from the stock market side or from the Wall Street side, they don't care about the future of Bitcoin. To them, it's just another buck to be made. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but you have to understand that that's kind of all that it is. It's just about money for them. I listen to podcasts and stuff like that all the time. And One, if you have not already, you should listen to a podcast called Flippening. And if not Flippening, listen to Unconfirmed. I'm not affiliated with either one of them. I'm not being paid for that. I'm just telling you, I like what they do because they talk to actual people on Wall Street who were trying to get into cryptocurrencies, who were, hedge fund managers or bankers who left the traditional finance markets, and they're now desperately trying to get into the cryptocurrency space. They're constructing these massive mining rigs and stuff like that. They're buying up land so that they can mine cryptocurrencies. And when they ask them, when the host, especially of Unconfirmed, when she talks to these people and she says, what do you see for the future of the cryptocurrency space? A lot of them, not that they can't give answers, but they say that it's just about the money. A lot of people, they got into crypto and then they started to, read a bit more about what crypto was. And as you go to the very beginning of the cryptocurrency space, you understand that crypto is supposed to be this not anarchic thing, but it's supposed to be something like money for the people, by the people, or a person, and it's supposed to free us from the economic bonds that is pretty much Wall Street. The problem with this is, like I said, they only see this as money. They only see this as if they can, they like the idea of having or acquiring a Bitcoin at $5,000 and it going to $20,000, but they know that at the same exact time, them being able to push the prices up and down coordinated to make 4, 5, 6, 7% a day, which is probably what they could maybe make in the stock market in 1 year, is still something very significant to them. That makes them hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. So when we have things like this happening, like I said, it's interesting in that we're getting not the validation, but people are understanding what crypto is. They understand that there's money to be made, but for them, it's just another day in the park. It's just them trying to make money. It's not them trying to secure a decentralized future. It's the same exact thing with the ICE, the people who are getting into the cryptocurrency space, or rather launching their own crypto exchange in November. When you listen to these podcasts, and if you kind of branch out a bit more, I like to hear things with people from traditional finance who are getting into crypto. They say one of their main worries, even though that they have noted that they are going to be using physical Bitcoin in order to resolve these future contracts, and that, it's great that you're holding the physical Bitcoin so that you can actually show that you are actually having it. But what's going to end up happening is, and they're pretty certain that's going to happen, is that people are going to start, as more people branch out into this, there's fraud in the stocks. There's fraud in every single market. In the diamond market, gold and silver market is something that can't be stopped, and people will always find a way. They said they're pretty sure, as if crypto doesn't get a huge amount of regulation, which it looks like it's not going to in the United States, it's probably just going to come down to know your customer, anti-money laundering, blah, blah, blah. What's going to end up happening is that you're going to have a lot of smaller firms who are going to be getting into futures and ETFs for Ethereum or for Bitcoin or for anything else that's going to happen down the road. And they're going to start to make paper crypto. I said this before in another video as well, i.e., if you actually are holding one Bitcoin and you get 5 sheets of paper and cut them in half and you write 1 BTC on each of them, you then have 10 Bitcoin that you can pass back and forth between people. And they said that when this happens, they're also afraid of some type of suppression in the price of Bitcoin, which also leads us back to the very first thing that I was talking about, where that guy said, we are going to tame Bitcoin. So no one knows what the future is going to hold. We have a lot of people who are talking about that crypto won't be as affected by this as other people are saying, simply because as crypto begins to spread and continues around the world and a lot of other places that are going through hyperinflation, what the United States or any other country might be doing as far as futures and or ETFs will have a minimal impact on the actual future of cryptocurrencies itself, because crypto will continue to spread. Like, this won't be like a cataclysmic thing, if you will, as far as to the prices or to the adoption of cryptocurrencies. But for people who are looking to profit or looking for 10 times returns like we saw in 2017, this could be slightly worrying, as, like I said before, this is just these people, not them, I don't know them, trying to, just make a quick buck or trying to make money on it. They don't really care about the decentralization of the future, because they've made all their money over the last 40, 50, 60, 70, 150 years through a centralized process. Just kind of wanted to talk a bit about that, but this is probably going to happen a lot sooner than we think. Next up, Bitcoin's price is once again in the news. On the 29th of August, the CNBC Fast Money panel interviewed Michael Morrow, who is the chief executive officer of the investment and merchant banking firm Genesis Capital. During the discussion, Morrow spoke about the Bitcoin price breakout of $7,000, the catalyst involved in encouraging the coin to rally up, the sell-off of activity in the market, and more. Last week, the cryptocurrency space broke out with the news of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, rejecting 9 Bitcoin ETFs. Morrow stated that this rejection led to the increase in the short interest across the market, or exchanges, as well as the lending activity witnessed by his investment firm. He added, and I do quote, "Once the news broke about the SEC rejection and the price actually held, we didn't see the 5, 10, or 15% sell-off that you've seen in previous rejections, and that the technicals at right around the $5,800 to $5,900 level held. So I think the bears have realized that they've run out of steam. So we also saw the spot trading side is right around the $6,000 level. Very few sellers," end quote. Regarding Morrow's call, the next step for Bitcoin will be around $10,000, and the catalyst to push this speculation, the crypto trading expert said, the market growth of the coin is going to be slow and relaxed. He speculated that the prices will behave less violently, for instance, a minor swell of 5 to 10%. So this happened a couple days ago, and as you may have noticed, this is kind of exactly what's happening to Bitcoin's price. We're floating around $7,200 at the time of me making this video. A lot of people have been coming forward with their where they think the cryptocurrency price is going. It seems that obviously, logically, mathematically, as numbers go up, that the next price for Bitcoin to hit is the $10,000 level. A lot of people were surprised that the market didn't collapse after the US, or rather the SEC, said that they weren't going to allow the 9 Bitcoin ETFs. I mean, we really all saw that coming. 9 passing at the exact same time would have been an absolute miracle. Or even that they were talking about that they're going to, re-review them or look them over and stuff like that. I think that is a complete farce. A lot of other people in the not even the cryptocurrency space, in the traditional finance world, have said what I said a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about all of this. There were people in the cryptocurrency space and also in traditional finance. They said that they think, or that they know, that what the SEC is doing is trying to flex their muscles as much as possible. They're trying to let people know that they are in control of these ETFs and these futures that people want so desperately. So what they're trying to do is they're going to reject a lot of things. The entire them talking about re-reviewing the 9 ETFs, in my humble, unexpertly opinion, is BS. Simply, they know exactly what they're going to do. If you rejected it once, if one of them passes through, that would be absolutely insane. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And this is why we've had the news that a lot of people have been saying that they think that should an ETF get passed, it's going to be something around the end of the year for the either CBOE or the New York Stock Exchange, or it's going to be something around early 2019, which is what the news that we had sometime in the middle of last week. As of now, Bitcoin's price is going up very steadily. I like that this is actually happening. I would rather it take us till, let's say, mid-October to hit 10,000 than for us to go there tomorrow, because what ends up happening is that people see the price explode, they start to try and take their money out of it very quick, and then other people see that other people are taking their money out of the market, and then we have a slump, and then we'll hit 6,800 again, and people will start talking news about the bears are doing this and the bears are doing that, have the bears awoken once again. I don't think it's bad. I'd rather get to $25,000 Bitcoin by December 31st or even the middle of January than for it to happen overnight. But as of now, it's still predicted and projected. Tom Lee was once again on the news talking about that he believes that Bitcoin is going to hit 20,000 in 2018. I think it's all very possible. Once again, no one knows what's going to happen, but there's still some catalyst out there that all these people think is going to set off the market, and that we're going to have crazy numbers again. But like I said, it doesn't worry me, but I'm afraid of getting too hot once again. You know, when you go from Bitcoin was at like 980 in 2017, shot up to 20,000. That's way too hot. Let's take our time with this. Just how I kind of feel about it, I have a strong inkling that should Bitcoin hit 15 and then 20,000, especially if this happens by like October, November, $60,000 would then be in the cards for the end of 2018, which would then cause us to slump in 2019 to hit a Bitcoin price of around $18,000 again, as it, the market seems to always do like a 1/3 of kind of where it was before in Bitcoin's price. But anyway, these price predictions are going to keep coming like waves, if you will. But it's nice to hear some type of, optimism in the market from a lot of the market players. I guess you could kind of say it that way. Next up, this is something that I think needs a bit or a lot of attention. On the 29th of August, Charlie Lee, who is the founder and creator of the 7th largest cryptocurrency by market cap, Litecoin, posted a poll for his followers on Twitter. The poll sought to fetch a popular opinion on what privacy features should be added to Litecoin. He said fungibility is the one and only feature of sound money missing from Bitcoin and Litecoin. Do you support adding a privacy feature to Litecoin? If so, which do you prefer and why? You can read it here. I'm not going to really go into what you already see on the screen. As suggested by the tweet, the 4 options put forth by the computer scientists were confidential transactions, blah, 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 so and so and so, and no privacy at all. The most popular vote was obtained by confidential transactions, followed by no privacy, ZK Snarks, and Mimble Wimble. The fact that we all live in different worlds. Everyone has, their own idea of what should happen to everything. The fact that we even had 1/5 of people saying that they don't want privacy at all on Litecoin kind of comes as a shocker. I don't think, and I've said this before, I don't think people understand what the future is actually going to be like. When everything is digital and everything can be traced, privacy is going to be something that people are going to want. So I think this is great that he even came forward kind of talking like this. Confidential transactions, or CT, is a method of adding privacy into a payment system by using homomorphic encryption through a blinding factor. A blinding factor is a string of numbers that assist in encrypting the inputs and outputs of the system. This feature ensures the authenticity of a transaction but conceals any information related to it from the network, such as the amount of the transaction. On the other hand, Snark Zero Knowledge private is used by Zcash and Zcoin XZC. The transactions shielded by this protocol are completely encrypted by it on the blockchain. This protects all the transactional information, such as the amount and addresses involved in the payment. I'm sorry, I can't say all these weird words. I've said that before in other videos. The cryptocurrency space is have very good imaginations when they come up with these letters and these combinations of words. They're just kind of all over the place. A large number of critics joining the discussion spoke about the many technicalities of executing the plan. If it were to be thought of at all, they had people talking about it. Not going to really go through what they said. You always have people who say, I love it, I hate it, I love it, I hate it. I think this needs to happen. I think this needs to happen yesterday as opposed to tomorrow. I hope that this discussion continues. We've had mixed things happening with Charlie Lee in the cryptocurrency space, especially the last couple of months. With all that he's done and all that he's said and all that he's been into, I hope that he continues with the Litecoin project the way that he is currently doing, i.e. that he doesn't take a step back and start boasting about other coins again. But on that note, I think that this actually has to happen. I hope, I don't know if there's going to be like an actual network vote. I don't know exactly if that's going to end up happening. I don't really know how Litecoin actually determines what's going to happen on their network as of now. A lot of times I usually hear that it's kind of the Litecoin team or even just Charlie Lee who kind of says that something is going to happen. The same exact thing where Litecoin is kind of like a test network for Bitcoin. Even if people say no, I think this would help a lot. I think I would get more into Litecoin. I think the one thing holding back Bitcoin and Litecoin right now is the entire privacy feature. But I'm afraid of what I told you can happen very easily is that people in higher up places or governmental positions, they can squash crypto very easily. We saw what happened at the beginning of January was based on what governments did. It was very coordinated. It was very easy for them to do it as well. And I think it would only take about 9.5 months, maybe, for them to dismantle the entire cryptocurrency space if they wanted to. What I hope is happening, myself, is happening is that the people behind these projects, the people who are building them up and are making sure the upgrades and what have you, that maybe they're just waiting for crypto to be properly integrated into the system, for the New York Stock Exchange to have it, for the NASDAQ to have it, for the Jamaican Stock Exchange to have it, for, all these things to become part of the institution, and then to implement the privacy features on top of it so that, it's a part of the system, its roots have grown into finance, and then this is when they kind of, implore isn't the word I'm looking for, not explore, when they activate the features on top of it. This needs to happen. I hope it does happen soon, but I have a feeling this is all kind of discussions right now. Even the stuff about Bitcoin privacy, they say it might not come around for like a year or two. I wish things happened quicker. I wish things happened in the cryptocurrency space as quick as price movements happen. How great would that be? I guess it's a bit unrealistic, but it's just kind of the way that things are right now. Next up, India's central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI, has confirmed the creation of an interdepartmental group tasked with analyzing the feasibility of issuing a rupee-backed central bank digital currency, or a CBDC. This was reported by the Economic Times on the 30th of August. The group's establishment and focus was detailed in the bank's annual report of 2017-2018, confirming earlier details that followed a meeting of India's Monetary Policy Committee, or the MPC, in April. The impetus for investigating the issuance of a fiat-tethered central bank digital currency reportedly derives in largely from cost consideration. The Economic Times cites statistics that suggest the cost of printing paper notes in India was 6.3 billion rupees, or around $89 million just for 2018. RBI's report noted that globally, the rising costs of managing fiat paper metallic money has led central banks around the world to explore the option of introducing fiat digital currencies. This is happening every single day that this news is in the news. Other factors include rapid changes in the payment industry and the rise of private digital tokens, according to the Economic Times. EY's India Mahesh Makhija told the paper that, and I quote, "The idea of a central bank issued digital currency is very promising, though issues around digital counterfeiting will need to be addressed." He further remarked that RBI's indication that it is open to the idea of using distributed ledger technology, or DLT, for payment systems, clearing, and settlement processes is a welcome development, end quote. While noting that crypto does not currently pose systemic risks, in his report, the bank cautioned that the cryptocurrency ecosystem may affect the existing payment and settlement system, which could, in turn, influence the transmission of monetary policy, end quote. What that basically means is crypto is a threat. We have to make our own cryptocurrency, and we have to make sure that we make it correctly, because you notice somewhere around here, digital counterfeiting. If a country makes a crypto, keep this in mind, and they don't make it correctly, if there are backdoors, if the blockchain that they're using is not stable or correct or powerful enough, they're going to have a hard time. Because what's going to end up happening is, if you are a country and you decide to switch over to complete digital, and you create a digital currency, demand that everyone in your country start using it. They're using it for around 2 or 3 years, and someone finds a backdoor, let's say around 15 hackers. I don't know any hackers. This isn't a YouTube threat, I promise you. This is a hypothetical. And they realize that there's a backdoor, and they break it, and they start printing more money than is actually permitted by the code that's inside there, or they freeze everyone's accounts. That's probably the worst case scenario. What I told you before in another video is that this has all been spoken about already. People are saying, and a lot of people have already said, that when banks and governments understand the popularity of crypto and that they can't stop crypto, and they see the eventual rise of it, and this is all like, math never lies. It's all mathematical. If you look at the expansion and the growth of the cryptocurrency space, is even just during 2017 and 18, as prices have gone down, it's worrying for governments and other systems like that. So what happens is other people have more faith in decentralized digital currencies, or even just the other cryptocurrencies that we have right now. Not even something that's, this amazing, wonderful thing. And the government's currency gets torn apart, or let's say the hackers freeze everyone's money over the course of 7 days. What then happens is everyone in that country panics and they start putting all of their money, as it's digital and they're used to using digital payments, into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. This is, like I said, we don't know if this is going to happen at all, but it's been spoken about for quite some time by a number of people in the cryptocurrency space who keep saying that you cannot stop what has already been started. We are apparently, even if nothing else crazy happens, even if no more adoption on the governmental side happens, that apparently this is going to continue to drip and leak of, the cryptocurrency space and how big crypto is going to get. And a lot more people are going to get into it. This is why you hear every single day since last week, we've had news about some type of government or some type of country who's trying to create their own cryptocurrency. And what's also going to happen, what's also going to be very interesting is, it says somewhere around here that, they're looking into it, but they don't know exactly when it's going to happen. I'm going to make not a wager, not a bet. I'm going to guess this will probably launch, or we'll get some type of confirmation about this, let's say around mid 2019, maybe even the end of 2019. The issue with that is that Bitcoin's price is predicted to hit around $100,000 sometime around 2019, maybe even the very end of 2019, around 2020. And this is also the time where Bitcoin's reward gets cut in half, and Bitcoin will then be half of the value that's needed in order to replace the US dollar. So the longer they wait, the stronger Bitcoin gets. The stronger Bitcoin gets, the more people start losing faith in their governments. And the longer that people lose faith in their governments and their governments start creating digital currencies, I'm pretty sure you can guess exactly what is predicted to happen. Last up, Bitcoin Cash is in the news. The Bitcoin Cash network experienced over 2.1 million transactions on the 1st of September as a result of a recently launched Bitcoin Cash stress test, according to data from BitInfo Charts. The stress test is a community-driven test on the Bitcoin Cash mainnet and its services, according to the Bitcoin Cash stress test website. The test aims to process millions of minimum fee transactions within 24 hours in order to prove to Bitcoin Cash blockchain's capacity and scalability, as well as to provide data for developers and businesses running their services and decentralized applications, or dApps, on the Bitcoin Cash network. The stress test was conducted on the 1st of September, 10 weeks before the reportedly scheduled November upgrade, and is hopefully set to take place on an annual basis. As a result of the Bitcoin Cash stress test, the share of Bitcoin Cash transactions amounted to 63% of all crypto transactions for the past 24 hours of press time. This was according to BitInfo Charts. The second currency in terms of number of transactions per day is Ethereum. They have a little chart right here. I guess from the numbers, this is Bitcoin Cash, the second red being Ethereum, and it looks like XRP and Bitcoin are kind of tied, and the rest are like little slivers inside of it, but I assume Bitcoin Cash got this major piece because of everything that they were trying to do. During the stress tests, the number of microtransactions on the Bitcoin Cash network surged up to 14,300 per block, according to data from Coindance. According to Fork.lol, the number of transactions even reached 25,000 per block, up from the average interval of 90 to 50 transactions per block. That is a huge increase from 90 to 50 to 25,000. To compare, the average number of transactions per block for Bitcoin amounts to 1,000 to 1,500. This is another little chart that they have right there. And another one. According to BitInfo Charts, Bitcoin Cash average transactions fees have not increased, actually seeing a small decline from less than a cent to even lesser than a cent. Software engineer Jason Lopp commented in a tweet that Bitcoin Cash stress test has succeeded in breaking various transaction and mempool visualizers. Not going to really read a lot more. What it comes down to is that Bitcoin Cash and Mr. Ver are trying to prove the superiority of their coin. To be honest, and this is partially my opinion, partially numbers as well, Bitcoin Cash has not been doing that well. A lot of people have not shunned it. But when you hear about news about cryptocurrencies, it tends to be the top three. Roger Ver said at the beginning of this year, that's 2018, that Bitcoin Cash was going to become the number one coin. People would stop calling it Bitcoin Cash and simply Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin, the number one coin that we have right now, would simply fade away into obscurity, maybe go live under a rock or something like that. As of now, the way that it seems, we've had a lot of news about Bitcoin Cash in the news, and it seems like, to me, that they're trying to let other people know that they're still there, if that makes a lot of sense. When we talk about futures or ETFs, it's always or generally comes down to Bitcoin and Ethereum, Ethereum and Bitcoin, Bitcoin and Bitcoin, and you kind of get what I'm saying. This is great that it worked out for them. I'm not really surprised that they were actually able to handle it. There was that other company a month ago who they said they were going to destroy their blockchain because they believe that Bitcoin Cash was not capable of holding that many transactions. You didn't hear from them again because I guess the entire thing worked. I mean, everyone has their idea of what should be the number one coin or what they think should take the number one spot. I think the Bitcoin Cash team has done great things, but I think it seems a bit lost. Not desperate, but you kind of get what I'm saying. When they're in the news, it's always like them trying to really prove themselves, but I think it comes down more to like integration, and if you can get some stock exchange or someone else around the world to start trading your coin, or who knows exactly what it is. There's still a couple of months left to see if Bitcoin Cash ends up taking the number one spot. I'm going to say at this moment it's probably not going to happen, but that's just the way the crypto crumbles. All right, everyone, that is definitely going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Thank you once again for watching and or listening. I do appreciate all the support, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.